Okay. Someone's calling from home. That narrows it down a bit. We're from London. I think someone's on from India. So great. Thanks for that. Just to get a feel for what we've got. And what results did you get in your September 2025 exam? What are we looking at? Okay, 100% fail. So maybe people who have passed are not really interested in what to do next, but okay. And are you considering getting a script review? Nope, no, don't see, no, no. Okay, okay. Um, I would completely agree with you. A script review will not lead to your mark changing. It will cost you a bit of money. In any of these kind of exam situations, I think the ACCA has to provide some kind of avenue of review if you're not happy, but I don't think I would recommend it. Your mark won't change. It will just say, well, he did okay on question one, didn't do too well on question two. I think for the money, I think you've just got to go and do your studies again, sadly. So just brush yourself down. So we're not getting a script review. And in terms of how we prepared for our ACCA September 2025 exam, how did we do that? I think there were a couple of people I chatted to who were using a learning provider that wasn't an ALP. Maybe they, I don't know, don't have a phone with them or they're watching it on the phone. So, yeah, a mixed bag of people. Okay. I would say if you have, it's a big deal passing your accountancy exams. Certainly when I did them, I needed all the help I could get. And I did a lot of research to who was the best person for the subject to help me get through. Normally, you will find the best people don't normally teach more than a couple maximum of subjects. They might do advanced tax and normal tax, but they certainly wouldn't be teaching all 12 subjects. So I would be very suspicious if someone taught all 12 subjects. I would check whether they actually feature on the ACCA website. Do they do official ACCA webinars for the ACCA in that particular subject? If they don't, why not? Why not? So next time, because we've all failed, sadly, how are we going to study next time? Give you a couple of seconds to respond. Everyone's going to use an advanced learning provider. Okay, okay. Just be honest. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying I would recommend you to do so. Okay, okay, okay. So that gives me some insight into the audience, knowing who you are. I'm going to bring down another presentation here for you. And I'm going to bring down this one because it seems that a lot of us have marginally failed. So this is, for anyone who marginally failed a subject, what should you do next time? Well, who are me? If you've never heard of me and you don't know who I am, I've been involved with lecturing students for over 25 years. I've been independently awarded the PQ Lecturer of the Year. So people, because of their success, have voted me as a lecturer. I've also been involved with colleges that have been awarded College of the Year, but I've been the Lecturer of the Year and I've been a runner-up for that on a couple of occasions. I work with the ACCA as their expert for SPL. If you go on the ACCA YouTube channel, if you go on the ACCA website, if you go on to the ACCA Student Accountant, you'll see lots of things I've contributed, not just for SPL, but for general study technique. And I also run online ACCA Advanced Learning Provider approved courses. So for me to get that status, I've often have to show how my students are more likely to pass as a result. So just to give some credibility to what I'm going to say, hopefully that reassures you. I am a little bit wary, to put it mildly, of the experts online. I see lots of posts on Facebook, as do the ACCA and other social media, of all these people who seem to know everything about the ACCA. Some of them have a very fancy website. Interestingly, though, none of them can be found on the ACCA website. None of them can be found on the ACCA YouTube channel, and none of them can be found on ACCA Student Accountants. So why is that? You might ask yourself. Be careful. There's a lot of fake news out there. I read some of these things and I despair at the advice that they give to you. So if, please stay away would be my advice, really. I would stay away. There's lots of free stuff. If you want to contact me after this, I've got a website with free stuff. Follow me on LinkedIn. Important to follow me because even when you follow me, I think LinkedIn only shares about 10% of what I post. So if you go on my website, you can get a newsletter. All of it's free. If you've got any questions, obviously that's my WhatsApp number, how I communicate with my students, but happy to answer questions to you. And the YouTube channel also provides recordings of webinars with the ACCA, advice, and so on. So I will probably put this recording of this on the YouTube channel. So that's me. If you have, well, as everyone on this webinar has shown through the Mentimeter thing, a lot of people didn't pass their exam last time. It's just over 6 weeks till the next exam. Plenty of time as long as you manage it appropriately and assuming that you have studied your subject before if you're doing a resit. Yeah. So what I want to share with you is, what do good students look like? I've had, the pleasure of dealing with lots and lots of good students and lots of not so good students who were turned into good students. And I think the key thing you have to find is your reason why you're doing this. It really helps in terms of focusing the mind. There's a lot of other things you can do about focusing the mind. I'm not going to talk about them here, but maybe I can do another webinar later on that. So you need to be personally motivated. There's an article on the Student Accountant magazine. I've written on it, get a visual of where qualifying as an accountant is going to take you. What's he going to do? Some people, it's going to give them opportunities to travel overseas. It's going to give them a load of money and they're going to buy a house or a shiny car or whatever. Yep. But you need to get your reason why. You then need to be very organized in your journey to get there. So I recommend having a timetable of living, which divides up my day into work, rest, and play. And I stick to it so that I develop a good routine. Yeah. If you are organized with a diary and you know what you're doing every 15 minutes of the day, which a diary will help you achieve, well, what happens then is you are able to establish a routine. A routine is a habit that you need no motivation to do, just like brushing your teeth in the morning. So you just get up and brush your teeth. There's no motivation to brush your teeth. It's just what you do when you get up and before you go to bed. Yeah. So really important to diarize your life so habits get established quite quickly. Yeah. Think about if you were training to run a marathon. Yeah. If you were training to run a marathon, you know when the marathon date is, you work back from that day and you make sure that your body and running ability is in good condition for that particular date. And you have a running program from now till then to make sure success happens. It's the same with studying. And just to reiterate, your work environment should not be disturbing your approach. It should be clutter-free and organized. A tidy mind is shown by lots of neuroscientists to really help. I do a lot of work with neuroscientists who are experts on the brain. And the thing that a lot of them talk about, well, actually what they do talk about, I'm not going to talk all about the tidy work environment. They talk about good quality sleep. So, look at good quality sleep. And they also talk about gut health. But all of those are things you can research yourself after this webinar. But tidy working environment, good quality sleep, and good gut health. If you have those three things, they really contribute to a more successful outcome. Yep. But that's another story for now. What are you going to do in the next 6 weeks? Well, you're going to be personally motivated. You're going to be personally organized. And I would advise you to go with an ACCA approved approach. Whatever you want to do it on an ACCA approved approach, because at least they have some credibility. To go with someone who has no approval, you know, I don't know why you would do that, to be honest. Anyone who's serious about having successful students will make sure they have the appropriate accreditation. Yeah. Would you go to see a doctor who wasn't qualified or isn't a qualified doctor, but oh, he's quite good? Hmm? Well, up to you, but I think you'd be crazy. So if you don't want to spend any money, what resources would you think about using? Use the ACCA Study Hub. Don't listen to these idiots on Facebook. Neuroscientists tell us if we take all that information on the Study Hub and we then create our own summations of it our way, our brains are visually wired. I think 80% is visually wired. So create pictures, create mind maps. Don't learn loads of notes or fill in blanks or stuff like that. It's not going to help you pass. It's what will help you pass tax. It might help you pass tax, yes, but it won't help you pass a subject such as SPL, where it's much more lateral. I'll talk more about SPL, but yeah, create your notes depending on the subject. Look at past questions on the newly developed ACCA ISS platform. Yeah. And also, I think, qualified accountancy will change your life, will make a massive difference to your career, your earnings potential. If you want that quickly, invest in a decent course to get you there quickly, would be my advice. Yeah. It's up to you. Specific to ACCA SPL, which I'm an expert in, remember, it's not a technical exam. It's not a technical exam. Okay. It's an applied exam. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, unlike tax and other technical exams, at the professional level, SPL is not something you're able to learn, but it's something you need to understand. You need to take information which you've understood and then apply it in the context of a case scenario. Okay. So yeah, in terms of what you need to do next, as a little kind of dig in your ribs, please don't do the same thing you did last time. Yep. Please do something different so you pass next time. If you were not using an ACCA approved learning provider, I think I would consider doing it. If you don't want to do that, the ACCA Study Hub is fantastic. It has all been looked at through the eyes of the specific examiner, whatever subject you were doing. And yeah, that's how you're going to pass. Best of all, like what I did, there's no way I could have passed my ACCA exams without getting the benefit of an expert. I lived in a part of England where no experts really were. So I used to have to get a train for a couple of hours to another city to go to a course to listen to this expert. That's the only reason I got through my exam. Now we can go to experts online, so you can live anywhere in the world. But yeah, I would really recommend you doing that. But you're just here asking for some advice. If I go specifically to SPL, because I know there was a couple of you who said to me before we started this that you're doing SPL, and maybe a lot of my followers are SPL people. Remember that Strategic Business Leader is a very different exam. If you bring to the Strategic Business Leader exam your tax mindset, that's not going to work. Yeah, that is not going to work because it's not a technical exam. Yeah, you're applying technical knowledge in the context of being a leader. You're thinking about behaviors in the context of the workplace. So if you're stuck, you think, oh gosh, what can I say? What would I do in the workplace? That's how you could maybe get out of a cul-de-sac or a hole where you don't know what to say. You need to think about behaving in a professional way as you would behave in the workplace, particularly where it's asking you for things like commercial acumen and skepticism. Really important to just show the marking team that you are acknowledging that request. And the key reasons people tend to fail this is they are poor in their time management, they're poor in their layout, they're poor in their mark focus, and they don't do enough practice with feedback. To be honest, this isn't specific to ACCA SPL. This is common to many ACCA exams. So in order to get better and overcome, you really need to get some feedback. You need to do some practice, and you just need to build on what you do wrong and get it right next time. Yep. I'll spend a tiny bit of time talking about timing for SBL, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. So SBL is a strategic professional exam. In this exam, you get given quite a lot of time. You get given 3 hours 15 minutes, which equates to 195 minutes, which means you must have a very strict time budget. So you have 195 minutes. The SBL exam might take you approximately 30 minutes. Reading and planning might take you a little bit less, might take you a little bit more. You will find that out by doing lots of practice. And then I would say if we take 30 minutes from the 195, it leaves us with about 160. I've got 165 there. 20 of the marks on the SBL exam, as with the other strategic professional exams, are awarded for professional skills marks. These marks take no time to acquire, so it's how you present your answer. It doesn't take more time to develop them, it's how you deliver them. So therefore, the 80 technical marks are what is going to govern our time of delivery. So rather than divide what's left after reading and planning by 100, that includes the 20 technical marks, sorry, the 20 professional skills marks. We therefore divide it by 80, and we get approximately 2 minutes a mark. And what you do with that is when you see a question, maybe it's 10 marks, that's 10 times 2, that's 20 minutes. And you would hopefully in your exam, I would physically be writing it in the word processing area, start and finish. Yeah, hopefully you did that. If not, you're out of control. You've got no budget. It's like being in a workplace without a budget. So the important lesson about timing is treat your exam like a project management exercise in mark acquisition. Okay, that's really, really, really important. If you want to follow up, you don't know, ask me any questions now. Remind you of how you can get hold of me. You probably, yeah, you know this, but I'll just put it down there in case anyone joined late. I would follow me on LinkedIn, go on my website, follow my newsletter, go on the YouTube. It's all free. It's all absolutely free. And I will share with you official ACCA stuff there. And yeah, but whatever subject you're doing, if you want to get past quickly, I think the easiest way, I've also got a podcast which I'll you can find me there. The quickest way is to do a course with someone who is approved. But let me now just talk with you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen about any questions you might have. You can put them in the chat box if you wish, or you can come off mic. I'm happy for you to come off mic. No, we're happy. Okay, well, if you want to take it offline later, I'm more than happy to. Hopefully, I've provided a little bit of food for thought for you. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.